Right then, final video of the year, this workshop update. This car is featured in the background a few times, you told me, Steve?
Yes.
Yep, but not in the video. We'll be doing Facebook timeline on what's happening with this. It's been in before, but watch this space. In this video, we've got a Ford Pop, an MGB GT, Sebring, Costello, some CNC work, 2 engines on the test cell, the engine room, and a Mustang. Have I remembered everything?
That's the list, yeah.
Okay, and you wanted me to make this quick because otherwise the video's too long, yeah?
Please.
Okay, go for it. It's all very well you asking me if I'm ready. You're the one that just forgot the memory card.
No, I didn't. You don't know that.
They do now.
Knows that.
We all do now.
I deny all knowledge.
Right, so the Ford Pop then. Those that follow us on Facebook will have seen all the work that Steve in the workshop put into this. Mainly being the owner of it, only bought it earlier this year. Wants a reliable vehicle, want to know what kind of state the engine was in. Obvious thing there is stripped down, visual inspection of crank bearings and camshaft. Someone had been in there previously and replaced the camshaft and the lifters. However, that is all they really did. They didn't then go through rocker shafts, crank bearings, etc. And as you saw on the Facebook post, crank bearings were worn, rocker shafts were the worst I've seen for a while. And preload wasn't set on the tappets either. So we've gone through that. We've upgraded the ignition system with our full setup. We've gone for reg Magnacore plug leads because the blue ones just didn't look quite so good under the bonnet, obviously. Aesthetically, the red looked far more pleasing. Already had the Edelbrock carburetor on there. It's on an off E360 intake manifold. Not great for a bottom end torque and throttle response and cruising, etc. It's designed as an open plane intake manifold for maximum airflow at maximum RPM. However, it's also a 3.5 low compression engine, so we're not really tuning this for, you know, out and out torque and horsepower. The customer's not worried about going fast or doing burnouts. It's very much a case of wants reliability in a car he can enjoy, take out at the weekend and go to car shows in. And this now does tick all those boxes, as you will see, because we're now about to go for a road test.
Yeah, good, because it's a bit cold out here.
Yeah, it's no warmer in there, buddy.
Oh.
Right, let's get going. Right, so out in the Pop, quite a new experience for me. I've never been out in the Pop before. There's nowhere really for my left leg, so you'll have to hold that, Steve.
No, thank you.
It's clean. I showered last night. Yeah, it makes all the right noises. Thankfully, it goes where you point it, which see a lot of kit cars, you don't get that benefit.
The driving position is interesting.
It's unique. But yeah, we know it's an old, low compression 3.5 engine. We know the driver's window keeps winding itself down with bumps in the road. Discussed with the customer, and his end goal was something that was reliable, he could go out in, cruise and enjoy. Doesn't need lots of power, doesn't want to be setting the rear tyres on fire or doing burnouts or anything like that, that a lot of people may look at this car and go, God, yeah, go on, do a burnout or whatever. That's not what this car is about for this customer. And what we've achieved is exactly that, a reliable vehicle. I'd have no problem jumping in this and trusting it to get me into work, pop me to the shops, go to a car show, etc. But I wouldn't be taking it to a drag strip or something with this engine in there. It's, you know, that's not what this engine has got in it. Yeah, it drives really nicely. It's on the old 3-speed gearbox, auto obviously, which I'm more used to the 4 speeds, which do seem to sort of shift nicer, etc. But this box, you know, we can get into it. Drives nice, it's smooth.
Yeah, it does the job.
Yeah, gear shift's actually really smooth. Occasionally they're a bit hit and miss, but yeah. I wonder what this cyclist thinks is coming up behind him with all this noise.
probably can't say it on camera.
Oh, low branch. Throttle response is really good from that carburetor, obviously. The red leads obviously don't really make a big performance difference over the blue ones, but aesthetically much more pleasing under the bonnet, as we said earlier. Don't put your seatbelt on.
I won't. There isn't one. I will close the door though, hang on.
Okay. How did you fail to close the door? Do you know something that's incredibly impressive about this car?
How orange it is.
That is very impressive. I think the colour actually does really suit the car. However, what's really impressive is the steering lock, which I will attempt to demonstrate in this junction. It might go horribly wrong, and I might miscalculate this, but we'll give it a go. So there aren't many cars. You could turn into this junction and wait for this car that's coming along the road. It's going to come along the road increasingly slowly. There we go. So we can actually look. We're actually on the wrong side of the road. That's a hell of a steering lock.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually a real pleasure to drive. By no means quick in terms of what we've done. What we'll see with the next vehicle will be road testing if we edit this correctly. But in terms of a real stunning car for a car show, a cruiser, etc., it ticks all the boxes for that. And for that, I'm sure the customer will be really, really pleased with what we've done with the engine, giving the engine a bit of a longer lifespan and something that's very reliable. He can just jump in, turn the key, and off he goes. So that's that then. We'll pop back to the workshop, shall we? Out in the MG then. It's been a long time coming. There's been a few little delays in this car, as you've seen in previous workshop updates. Engine spec, as a recap on this, is a 3.9 with stage 3 heads and a Piper 285 camshaft, the full RPI ignition kit in the Edelbrock carburetor. We'll show you under the bonnet when we get back to the workshop. And we've also installed the Mazda 5-speed gearbox. So we're just out, just getting a few final miles on it, and also making sure the calibration of the speedo is correct, because it's a digital, well, not a digital speedo, it's a digital pickup off the gearbox for the modern Smiths speedo we've got here. Drives really, really nicely. Obviously the stage 3 really means pulling it through the revs is quite good fun. Power feeds in really, really well.
Yeah, it's fairly rapid.
It's nice. I mean, obviously we've done a few of these with 4.6s in, and they pull incredibly well. But on a damp road like today, I would have really been concerned as to how much power to feed in with a 4.6, whereas the 3.9 really suits this car well. The power output from the engine with the stage 3 heads should be sort of 220 horsepower, maybe, somewhere around that figure. And yeah, it's just a really nice power band for this car, very enjoyable to drive. But also it does all the slow stuff that you need it to as well. being a 3.9, we've got extra capacity, so you've got a bit more torque down the bottom end than a old 3.5. But you know, I'm up into 4th there. I'm into 5th, I'm just casually driving, you know, no need to accelerate quickly, and the engine does everything very well. That 285 camshaft still performs well down the bottom end as well. You probably lose a little bit of torque from the 285 cam down the bottom end because you're promoting horsepower at the top end, but it's still nice and smooth, nothing jerky at all.
This is going to be a fairly long test drive then.
You know I'm in my happy place.
Well, it is an MG. Well, you can't dump me here, Ian.
Yeah, we've used this spot on the NDR a few times. I've abandoned you on this roundabout, but you ain't going to see a lot today.
Not much, no.
We best go and find somewhere where it's not foggy. I hear Spain's probably nice.
Yeah, we'll head there.
Yeah. Right, okay, we'll turn round. Even though it's still only a 3.9, I say only, it's obviously quite a well-spec'd 3.9. Still quite snappy on the throttle.
Yeah.
Right, so I think I'll abandon you here. And although it's still foggy, we're not going to avoid the fog today.
Are you sure you can't, like, move it?
Move the fog.
Put it somewhere else?
Yeah, we might be able to box a bit up and send it off somewhere.
Sell jars of Norfolk fog.
Yeah. They are. I'll abandon you here.
£5, shop.v8engines.com. Norfolk fog.
Norfolk fog. Okay. We'll leave you to run with that one.
Okay.
Did you bring a jacket?
Yeah. In a bit.
Doesn't look like it. It looks like a hoodie.
Same thing, innit? I'm having a hard time getting out of the harness with one hand, so...
I ain't gonna help you. Under the bonnet then, as you can tell out on the road, it drives really, really well. Under the bonnet, as I said, 3.9, stage 3 cylinder heads, so we've got larger intake and exhaust valves, fully ported on intake and exhaust. The Offenhauser dual port intake manifold with the Edelbrock 500 carburetor. And the full RPI ignition kit, so we've got the amplifier mounted up here on the wing, Magna core leads and the Bosch coil with the electronic distributor. The customer already had the, I think they're the MGR V8 headers that exit through the wings, and the stainless steel, no, it's not going to be stainless steel, is it? There's a silly comment, it's going to be aluminium.
Yeah.
Or aluminum, depending on where in the world you are.
Same colour. Same
colour, yeah. So already had the alley rad and things in place for that. So yeah, as you can tell, exceptional car, really, really nice on the road. I'd say it's got just the right amount of power, really, for fun driving. I think that concludes this one.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah. So what's next? I think we'll head into the workshop. We've got something a bit special and different in there at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that then.
Yeah. Something a bit or very different?
A bit very different.
A bit very different in here at the moment. So this is a 2011 5-litre supercharged Mustang. Completely different engine build to what they produced with originally, and a very different VMP supercharger. Obviously a few different pulley options the customers advised us, and I think actually already posted a BHP dyno graph of this engine on our Facebook page, because you did some photos yesterday. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen it, but I'll have a look once I've stopped.
You called it 1,000 horsepower.
Yep.
It's 994, mate.
That's close enough.
Yeah, with a slightly smaller pulley on. I think at the moment it's 800 and something. So yeah, really nice setup. The customer has been looking for somebody to get involved in maintaining the car and performing a couple of small upgrades on it. He's popped in to see us and liked what we do. So hence why the car is now here with us. So we are installing a triple pass alley charge cooler radiator. The original, I'm going to go past the camera here and come over here, and that is the original one. that is the way. No, it's not. That's upside down, inside out, and round about. That's the way it was mounted before.
No one would have known if you didn't say anything.
Complete with flies. So that's come out. The new VMP triple pass rad with dual fan setup as well. I was very pleased to see that the fans were Spal fans on the rear of there. We know them and used them before, so that's good. So we're now just installing that and doing a service on the engine, new spark plugs, gapping them, torquing them up correctly. But the kit that turned up, we all know about internet kits that turn up, don't we?
Bolt on.
Bolt on. It does bolt on because we have to relocate the charge cooler pump. However, I'm not happy with that.
That'll make a lovely noise when you're going down the road.
Yeah, so we're just going to weld in some gussets on this bracket to stiffen that up. A little bit of flex obviously isn't a bad thing, but we can probably count the twangs. Yeah, let's not go there. So we're going to just improve things there a little bit. We've also got a little coolant leak on the engine that the customer wants us to obviously sort out as well. So yeah. Not just Rover V8s. That's the Mustang. Engine bay probably next, isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, go on then. Engines then. Back here we've got a 4 litre that we're building up with stage 1 cylinder heads for a Cobra kit car. That's having the customer's flapper injection system installed. I think the customer's actually going to install that himself. So we've got the Cloy's duplex chain on there and Piper 270 camshaft. So that's sort of happening in the background. In the foreground we have this 4.6 engine being built up for a Defender in America. As a full turnkey engine, we're supplying everything here. Stage 3 cylinder heads, Piper 285 camshaft, fully ported intake manifold and ported trumpet base. Running hot wire injection system, Tornado ECU chip, and obviously the full RPI ignition package. So Holly is just completing this build. Should be done, I'd say probably sometime tomorrow, which is great. Beside it, we've then got beginnings of a short block that Holly's building up. I believe that's going to be a 4.6 stage. Really should look this stuff up beforehand.
Well, you did.
That was the other one. 4.6 standard cylinder heads, but with Piper 270 camshaft for a P38 Range Rover that's having the engine installed here. There is another one where Steve's standing, but it isn't now because we've put it on the engine test bed, because much like this engine will be running up on our test cell. The one that was where you are, Steve, is now on the test cell and fired up and running. So we'll head over there, shall we?
I'm going to look at your twangy thing first.
Oh, are you now?
I am. Well, that's less twangy now.
On to the next bit. So here's the aforementioned other engine going to America, destined for another Defender. 4.6 GEMS injection this time, so no distributor, core packs on the back. We actually sourced a manual flywheel for this because it's being coupled to an R380 gearbox. And we've just created an extra bit of loom for our engine test cell so we can now plug GEMS engines into it. So in theory, I flick this switch, we have oil light and alternator charge light and an engine that runs.
That's nice.
Yeah, sounds lovely. So what we've obviously done is we have pre-run this. We've done what we do for breaking a cam in and checking everything on the engine, doing all the sensors checks. A common question I get asked is about breaking a cam in, which we will get round to doing a video on. However, I have an email that details it all. Obviously, if anyone emails me and wants, I can send over. Back to the engine though. So we're running GEMS. It's obviously standalone. There's no BECM from a P38 Range Rover or anything like that here. And from memory, it's 4.6. I know nothing else.
It says on the top.
Yeah, I should have gone and hang on, cut here. I'll be back in a second. I'm not out of breath at all, you know, from running all the way over there and back.
No, we can tell.
And you shouldn't run in the workshop.
Never.
That's what you were about to say, isn't it? Yeah. I didn't run, I levitated. So, it is a 4.6 standard cylinder heads Piper Torque Max camshaft, built up to just be a really nice, reliable, torquey bottom end 4.6 engine. We've done a conversion on the front pulley system that you can't see in the engine test cell. That means it will fit in a left-hand drive car. We bring the belt round and into the block. The annoying rattle you can hear is the pipe extractor we have going out of the door for the exhaust fumes. So, one happy engine. Obviously we've bench run it, we know lambdas are working, we know the throttle position sensor and butterfly is set correctly, we know the fuel pressure is correct with its fuel pressure regulator, we're happy the thermostat's opening and closing, so the customer can receive this engine, put it in his Defender, effectively turn the key and go.
And away he goes.
Yeah.
So what's the other noise I can hear in the background?
That is the CNC machine which we've now programmed to do some funky stuff on cylinder heads.
Let's take a look at that then.
So yeah, we're just started doing stage 3 cylinder heads on the CNC machine, so the main porting is actually done on the exhaust ports and the intake ports on here now. I will look into doing a bit more on here eventually, but for now this just takes the main sting out of all of the handwork that used to be done on these sections. So obviously it's nice and easy, we can just hit the go button once we're jigged up and zeroed up and walk away.
Yeah. So stage 3 nearly is what's happening here.
Yeah, the inlets and exhaust ports for the first sort of 1.5 to 2 inches down that port are now done on here, and then they're obviously hand finished, and the seats, the choke of the seats are then taken out as they always were on the valve cutting machine, and then they're hand finished in the port section of the chamber behind the valve seat, where they then meet these ports that the CNC machine is doing.
Right. Let's go somewhere else because this is extremely loud.
Okay. I think we can go one step further than that.
Do we need to?
Of course. Yeah, that'll do it.
I reckon so.
Yeah. Shall we go to the bit that we've already filmed that's a lot quieter than that now then?
Please.
Okay. Here's the 4.6 engine then that we just saw in the engine building bay. Holly's completed it. Steve's installed it in the test cell here. And as per the last engine we just saw, we're now going to fire this one up. And Steve's been through, done a full setup. So fuel pressure, throttle butterfly angle, throttle position sensor voltage, CO trimmer voltage, ignition timing is all done. We've also obviously run everything up to temperature, kept flipping the engine to make sure the tappets don't sit still, effectively breaking the camshaft in, making sure all the sensors are scaling correctly in terms of lambda sensors when we've got the laptop plugged in, making sure the throttle sensor, the voltage is scaling nicely as we open the throttle up. It's running really nicely. This is going to be coupled to an R380 manual gearbox as well, the same as what the other engine was. Differences between this engine and the last one, obviously this is stage 3 cylinder heads and a 285 cam, hot wire injection with a distributor. Further upgrades that could happen to this engine, it's already on the ported intake manifold and trumpet base. We could go for a 4.6 Bosch airflow meter, meaning when we're really wanting lots of airflow through the engine, we've got a much bigger internal bore on the airflow meter. Bosch injectors, 4-hole for a bit more refinement. And obviously we could do something with a larger throttle body or multiple throttle bodies. However, this meets the customer specification that he wants for the Defender. So this is ready to go. I think it's on to talk about some more Defenders, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Defender hour.
It's Defender hour. That'll get some good hits if you put Defender in the title.
Yeah, of course.
What are you doing all the way over there?
There's lots of Land Rovers and only a certain amount of frame to put them in.
Yeah, there's a bit going on, isn't there? So, as Steve said, lots of Defenders or Land Rovers, depending on that age. This one you'll have seen in our how much to convert your Defender to V8 video before. We use it as a prop in that. Under the bonnet, this is all now done. It's actually being collected imminently. So it's a 4.6, from memory, stage 3 heads and 270 camshaft. I'll just confirm that with our engine number that's on the back of it. Yep. Obviously Edelbrock carburetor with full ignition kit. This drives superbly. Everyone that's driven it, yourself and Steve who stood over there in case delivery drivers come in and mess up the video like last time, we've all driven this and have all said it's just effortless, isn't it?
Yeah, we all want to keep it, don't we?
We do all want to keep it, yes. We did also have a lot of welding work to do on the chassis on this. Once we got the engine in and that, the customer asked us to have a poke and a prod about. We found a fair bit, so we've done that, and you've got a Facebook timeline that you will have already put up by the time this video goes out, most likely.
Probably.
If you have time.
Yes.
So yeah, this is now ready going back to the customer, which frees up a bit of space. And I'm sure the customer will be really pleased when he drives it, because yeah, it's superb. This Defender also featured in that same how much to convert my Defender video. We've now actually been through this and done quite an extensive list of little things that aren't quite right with it, and we're now going to start discussing with the customer on that. It's been here a little while, but this is actually a project that is booked in with no kind of deadline, and it was on the basis of it'll arrive with you kind of when it gets there. You fit it in around other things, and because we've been so busy, it's been a struggle to kind of fit it in. But yeah, so we're now in discussions with the customer as to what to do next on this. This Defender, this one was in that same video, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, right.
You don't know any different.
So this Defender is a 3.9 fuel injected with hot wire. Came into us with quite a serious running issue. It wouldn't rev past about 3,000 RPM. Steve's been through it and found lots of little faults, and they all added up to that one big fault of it not really revving past 3,000. So he found one injector wasn't working, one injector was only putting 50% fuel in. The distributor had an issue inside that we're aware of, and all distributors that we supply are actually fully checked over before they even go into our stores, let alone before they get sent out to a customer. So yeah, we're aware of several issues with the brand new distributors that are available, but all of ours are pre-checked and guaranteed. And once we'd done that, it was job done. Customer then said to us about the exhaust, because we had commented on a couple of bits, and he sort of commented to us saying it was something he threw together. So he's now booked it in for January, when we can do the exhaust system on this for him as well. Unfortunately, we can't just do it now because we've got other work booked in, and we just can't push the other work back to do this. So this is booked in for January for that work. This Defender 90
Hold
is...
on.
What?
We've got something extra.
Extra?
Over there.
I was going to do that at the end.
Well, we're doing it now.
Okay.
That's what you said before you started filming.
No, I'm sure. Anyway, so this is next year's project. You can get a murky view through the window there.
Yeah.
We've got a BGT to build. Engine and gearbox are already here. The gearbox is already here, and the engine's already built. We've seen it in previous videos. If you walk backwards that way a bit, you won't hit that Defender.
Hang on, well, I figure it's self-centering. If I hit the wing of one, I'll get in the middle.
So, yeah, that's next year's little project there. We're going to be assembling that. This Defender's in for a tick. So it should be hopefully a fairly straightforward one to sort out. Shall I put a pause in here?
Yeah, go on.
Then if the end of the video goes wrong... Right, there's a pause. This white 90 has come in for various different little jobs. So as you can see, it's on the Edelbrock carburetor, already with our ignition upgrade kit, plumbed to a snorkel via this free flow connection pipe. But there's no inline filter either, so what we've just discussed with the customer is putting an inline filter at the back here, similar to what the Defender 9050 would have had, plumbing that to the snorkel and then the plenum to that, along with giving the engine a good setup. I think there's a few other little bits on this, like wiring up the winch that isn't wired in, and odd little jobs like that, which we'll get round to. And this car is in for a starting issue, because intermittent starting. However, every time we've gone to it, it starts, especially if you remember to press the immobiliser button. So I think that's probably the 11th or 12th time we've been to the car and started it to see if there's a fault or what's going on. It's obviously an intermittent thing. The customer confirmed it really struggled to start even when it was put on the trailer to come down to us. Yeah, we'll probably have to get under the bonnet and have a good wiggle around with everything and try and find that intermittent fault. Very tricky to fix it when it's doing its thing.
It's always the way though.
But anyway,
Always the way.
I think that pretty much concludes this video.
It does.
It'll probably be the last video we put up this year.
Unless I do an end of year video, which sometimes I get time to do and sometimes don't.
Yeah, so maybe. If this is the last one we do, it might be the last one where I get to ramble in. So yeah, hope everyone has a good seasonal time at the end of this year, doing whatever you want to do or can do or allowed to do. And we'll see you in 2021.
That'll be that then.
Well, you didn't think we wouldn't show you on the road, did you?
If there's anything you want to tell us about the Mustang, then now's your time. I'm recording, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've had it since June this year. Bought it off a chap called Ross, who spent the last 3 years putting his heart and soul into it to make it what it is. It's originally a 2011 from Arizona, an S197 5 litre, got VMP supercharger, 1200 brake horse rated, gearbox, prop shaft. It's all set up for the drag strip. The car's more than capable, it's just the driver that needs to be a bit more capable. But yeah, it's absolute joy to drive, brilliant.
So just take a left here.
Yeah.
Yes, because I got it wrong on Facebook, didn't I? I said 1,000 horsepower, but it was...
It's 5.5 less.
Yeah.
Ross got it to 994.5.
In the pub, that's the same thing.
Yeah, well, me and my daughter did have a discussion, and she thinks over 800 brake horsepower sounds better than saying not quite 1,000. She says it feels like you've not quite made it, so I'm a bit... There's two ways to look at it.
Well, that's it.
But yeah, more than enough. More than enough. But yeah, what you've done with a charge cooler, it would have one of the things that Ross were going to do if he'd have kept it. So I'm just kind of following on just to tweak what he's done. There's nothing really more it needs doing. I know I'm going to fetch it back to yourselves for the exhaust work, couple of bonnet catchers.
Yeah, I would be glad to see it.
Yeah, no, it's nice to find some people who are happy looking after it.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying so. So we're now going to take this just down the road here. I'm going to get out and we'll get some nice clips of the exhaust from the outside. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, cheers for the ride.
So the current setup then, you're on a smaller pulley, so it's not the 994 that you posted on our Facebook page.
No, it's on the next, it's the
bigger pulley.
Bigger pulley, yeah. And that's with the meth turned on. Looking at about 870.
Still plenty.
Without the meth 840, yeah.
Okay.
And I can't see me putting the other pulley on because it's got enough now.
Yeah, it does,
really.
It does what it needs to do.
If I were to put the other pulley, it would just be to try and get to that magical 1,000, and that'd be...
Yeah.
That'd be one day maybe, but at the minute I just want to tweak what we've got.
Yeah, maintain and make it continue the reliability.
Yes, yeah. Doesn't take much to light.
Does it now?
Doesn't take much at all to light them up. No, it really doesn't. It's got 30 psi in the tyres now, but normally in the summer I've been, even on the road, I've been running it at sort of 22, 23, just for that sole reason. But this is like sort of 40 mile an hour at 30. And then you're at 80 kind of thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculously good.
But yeah, it's good, isn't it? Definitely puts a huge grin on your face.
It's what it's all about. This car is just... It's my happy, but you come out for a drive in it, you want to drive it.
Yeah.
You know, don't matter where you're going, it's nice.
Yeah. And the fact it's reliable, you're not worried about those journeys you're doing in it. It's
It's got everything. I won't say it's the best car I've ever had.
Yeah.
I still think my C63S that I had just before it was a better car.
Yeah.
But it never made me smile as much as this does, and want me to get up at 4 in the morning to go for a drive.